Hi there, Aries. Welcome to your end of August 2025 General Tarot Update. It's Serena here. Hope your month has been going well. Let's see what is symbolic for the last week of the month. It's not really the last half of it, it's more like the last week of it. Okay, very interesting. Just put these out of the way. I was getting a little worried there because I have a rule that if I pick 3 reverse cards in a row, then I call it user error and I start all over again, because I do believe that we can make mistakes and it's not like cosmically ordained. Some things are just mistakes. But I got some upright cards, so, and you will find that there are plenty of tarot readers who read reverse cards. I certainly do. I always think it's kind of weird when a tarot reader picks a card reversed and then puts it upright. Like there couldn't be a different interpretation when it's reversed, because I think there can be, but sometimes it's a little much. Okay, so the central card is the last card of the major arcana, which is the world card. Typically, we would say about the world card that it is the end of an era, some sort of finality about a situation. However, it is going, I was going to say it's going retrograde, because in the back of my mind, I always like to connect the tarot with the transits. And there are actually 2 planets that are going retrograde from your sign of Aries back into Pisces. One of them is on September 1st, so right after the end of this month, and that is Saturn. The other one is Neptune, and both of these planets are already retrograde, but it's just like a matter of going back into Pisces. So they're retrograding in Aries currently. So because they're affecting your sign, you may feel like something that is coming to an end is being extended for a little while. And sometimes that does happen in life because there are more things to iron out. So if that is the case, then it's your job to be patient, because you're very forward looking. You don't want to look back. You're very, you're like chomping at the bit for something to end and some new experience. But sometimes there still is that inner work to do, or the outer preparation on the mundane level. In the past position, we have the 6 of Pentacles reversed. This is one of the cards that is a money card. I mean, a inheritance card. It is a money card by virtue of being a Pentacles, but it's an inheritance card. So it could be that there is something that is still being finalized with some sort of inheritance issue. I've already done the astrological forecast for September, and right after the equinox, or on the day of the equinox, on the 22nd of September, Mars goes into Scorpio. So that's going to be your 8th house, Aries. And that will be more of an overt situation if you are dealing with either an inheritance or some kind of shared resources or somebody else's resources. That could be the time when there is some kind of pushback. Also, I would say with the Six of Pentacles in reverse, this idea of some sort of energy imbalance altogether in relationship. And maybe the world card reversed is that against your better judgment, you allowed somebody back into your life romantically, and now they are doing it again, where they are taking from you. And I'm not just talking about physically, but just this idea of they're kind of like something they're doing is demanding your energy, and they are not replenishing it or kind of reciprocating so that you feel that you're not being drained, because you might be drained because of their behavior. The higher message is the Five of Cups. This is a card of mourning the loss of something. So it could simply mean that you're not really dealing with what somebody else is doing, and you're not like really like connecting with it. So therefore you may not realize that this is something that is not working. And it's almost like when someone tries to prevent something from happening that's inevitable, it means that they're just postponing their agony, I guess you could call it. And, that's why I'm saying, it's not over, but maybe it should be, because it's not bringing you peace. It's not bringing you any kind of sense of fulfillment. And so what purpose does it serve at this point? But maybe you're trying to stave off that kind of sense of loss that comes about when, we have these breakups. Even if the breakup is something that isn't, like the relationship isn't good anymore, it still can feel like loss, because maybe there were days that were actually better days. That is possible. And if you are the kind of person that's very sentimental, you may be clinging to that, and it's like an illusion because it's not dealing with what is happening now. What crosses you is the Judgment card. This is a card of rebirth. I mean, there are other things that this card represents, but in this reading, I definitely think that this has to do with rebirth, because it is, and it's right below the, the world card. So it's kind of like when you end a cycle in your life, it opens it up for some kind of rebirth, but you can't have that if you are remaining in an outworn situation. So keep that in mind, because you may feel, you had a solar eclipse in your sign. That was the last eclipse in that cycle in your sign in late March. And you may have had really high hopes for a new phase in your life to begin, but it might have been dragging along because something that is truly over with has not been put to rest. You might be on again, off again with somebody, in other words, and it is not working, but you just, for whatever reason, feel that it's hard to move on. What's coming in is represented by the Eight of Pentacles. This is a card that I would typically associate with material abundance, worldly abundance, but also this sense of, career mojo, I would say, that's coming from you. You may be somebody who is in what is called an apprenticeship, or you're in like in that initial phase where you are learning the ropes. But this can also be the quality of work that you're doing, that you are really giving top-notch performance, and therefore this is helping you professionally, helping your financial situation. The outcome card is the Daughter of Wands, which in other decks is the Page of Wands. This can be good news that you receive. And so that's another thing too, because this card could be like that you're ready to leave a profession that maybe you have some attachment to, but that you have changed. And I think even with this card, it can even be like a spiritual upgrade, some kind of spiritual awakening that has shifted your focus, and you no longer have those same that same connection to that other type of work, but you still are there. So you may, I think in that particular scenario, the Eight of Pentacles can be like, you're not doing shoddy work, even though you know you have one foot out the door. You're bringing your A game every day until you decide to leave, because you want to go out with a bang. You want to go out on top. And the last card, the Page of Wands, can be that you receive some kind of good news that is connected to these other cards in some way. Okay, that's what I have for you, Aries. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, please check the link below, because I have all kinds of types of readings. And I hope you have a great rest of the month. Take care. Bye.